You're listening to Pro Talk Wrestling with NateFNGreat. Hey, what is up, you guys? It is indeed time once again for Pro Talk Wrestling, a part of the Game Changer Network, the Game Changer Podcast, whatever you want to call it. Indeed, it is back. I am NateFNGreat, the one, the only, the effing man himself. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you, this is kind of a bittersweet episode for me. And let me explain, because obviously throughout the week, there has been a lot of social media interactions and a lot of social media statements that have been going on, including the fact that the Game Changer Podcast, not the wrestling podcast, the Game Changer Podcast is going to be joining Wrestle Addict Radio. So, for those of you that are fans, you're going to be listening into not only stuff that I've created, you're also going to be listening to some of the great stuff that other people have indeed put their time and creativity to. You're definitely going to want to check out Wrestle Addict Radio. I will definitely be plugging quite a bit of this, but honestly guys, this is probably the last time that I will be doing this while not being under a gargantuan and mammoth deal like Wrestle Addict Radio. For those of you that don't know what Wrestle Addict Radio is, it was a concept that was created by Anthony, Rant with Ant, and he brought in all of these great podcasts into a group in which they have showcased shows, they showcase their talent. It is a great way for people to just enjoy the wrestling community and keep wrestling real. Now, with that being said, obviously people have listened, they have heard that Rant with Ant is no more, as well as Who Got Next is no more. And Anthony, Issa, Phil, and MJ, they are going to be going their separate ways. They're going to be doing different podcasts. MJ and Phil actually have announced that they are going to be doing a different podcast. Now, I'll definitely check that out, you guys. It's going to be awesome. I'm actually going to try to get the exact podcast name before the show is over, because love these guys. They're absolutely great. And it's going to be very interesting to see what this new chapter for them brings. So, I'll be going into Wrestle Addict Radio with Mr. Fretz. We're actually going to be recording a episode for the Game Changer Podcast very soon that you guys will definitely not want to miss. With that being said, let's make this final show just absolutely a huge blowout. Again, this is Pro Talk Wrestling. Last time we'll be doing it just by ourselves, because we will be going under the Wrestle Addict Radio banner, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. We're going to be the brand. So, how can I make this a monumental show? I mean, honestly, oh my gosh. So much is going on, you guys. I think that we'll keep some of the wrestling stuff still going, but I really do want to continue to make the Game Changer Podcast something that everybody can enjoy. Not just wrestling fans, but also people who are pop culture fans, but also who definitely enjoy all sorts of media and all sorts of entertainment. I definitely do want people to actually enjoy that, and that's what the Game Changer Podcast is all about. It's not just about wrestling. It's about the entertainment value. So, with that being said, let's go into a bit of an entertaining deal. So, a lot of you people might have seen on my Twitter that I've actually been doing a little weird, or interesting, I should say, Twitter war with a friend of mine known as Bobo. So, he challenged, he didn't. So, he made this comment about his 418 title run, which is news to me, because honestly, how many people has he defended that title since he won? I mean, a grand total of maybe 2, 3 people, I would say. So he calls me out. He calls me by the NateFNGreat show because apparently, I should show up to his plays and, wrestle on his terms and blah, blah, blah. Everything like that. But then I basically called him out and said, okay, why don't you get off your high horse and step into my reality, which was a prediction battle at WWE Stomping Ground next Sunday, to which he has accepted, but he also had a little bit of a tidbit, a little gem, I guess you could say, for this prediction battle. So a lot of people know that I've been doing prediction battles ever since the Game Changer podcast has been created. And one of the things I always love to do is to add, stipulations, whether it's punishments or just crazy things that people have done. So we kind of got from the What Culture Cultaholic thing, and I've always been a big fan of that because it does add more entertainment to the product as well as entertaining content for you guys. But also, like I said, some of it's fun, some of it just sucks. But this one's going to be kind of interesting because this might be the most personal I've ever really had of a punishment that kind of hits home. So let me actually share a little bit of a gem, like I said, a little bit of a tidbit from the Around the Nerd podcast that he hosts. And just listen as I pick up my microphone. Just listen to how much of a cocky, arrogant person that he is. And just listen to how he tries to intimidate me. Just listen and you'll understand what I'm dealing with.
All right. Now, I told him to listen to the show. So hopefully, Nate, I hope you're listening. God, I hope you're listening. Nate, I accept your challenge. And not only do I accept your challenge, I accept your stipulation. I am going to add a small stipulation of my own. When I beat you, not if, when, in your own game.
Dick waggling contest, everybody.
I don't just want to be able to continue calling you the F and No Show. No. I want you to change your own name on every last one of your podcasts for 1 month to Nate the F and No Show.
Damn.
Oh, dear Lord. So,
man, I'm almost rooting for Nate after something like that.
How confident are you, Nate? I hope it's really confident. I really do.
See, here's the thing. I'm just not competitive.
All right. They've got enough time on my show here. So that's Around the Nerd. You can find that on Spreaker.com. It's part of the E3 deal that they've been doing. So, obviously, I'm not one of those guys who, likes to have some suspension of belief. There's some times where I do, and a lot of times I don't. But this is one of those times where I just want to cut to it. Not only do I accept his challenge, but I add another stipulation. No, I'm not. That's stupid. It's kind of funny because he already added the stipulation that I would already get a title shot for his championship, quote unquote, when really, like I said, he only defended it 3 times. When meanwhile, ever since the Game Changer podcast has been going on, I've been doing prediction battle after battle after battle after battle, battling with the likes of royalty, with governesses of valifornication, you might say, against people with gimmicks, and people with loudmouths, people who are just rant fathers. I have battled against so many people, and if he has the audacity to basically make what I do a joke, this is going to be a slaughter, because to quote another Game Changer, or more or less a game, your yard, Mr. Bobo, is in the middle of my world. And I'm looking forward to beating you at Stomping Ground. Getting rid of that stupid, ridiculous Nate the F and No Show gimmick and just tossing it out forever. And who knows, maybe after I win his Pokemon Stadium Championship, maybe I'll just take it. I'll do maybe the Medusa deal. Maybe I'll just drop it in the trash. Maybe I'll just do what Adam Blampied or Adam Pachi, whichever one it was. Maybe I'll just take the championship and just rip it in half. Who knows? Because he makes his theme like, oh, I can be a good heel. Bobo, when it comes to being a heel, I could walk circles around you. Trust me. So that is my response. I'm going to take a little quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll go right back on track talking about wrestling, including not only a preview of a wrestling show coming up this week, but also a great wrestling show that I was a part of last week, presented by ACW. Do not go anywhere, guys. I will be right back. Hi, I'm NateFNGreat. You know what's really fun, you guys, is just spending some time creating wrestling moments, whether it's being in the crowd, cutting promos, or just really kind of beating each other up with a chair or a trash can. Well, let's just say that there's a safer way to doing that without using the actual chair or a trash can. Go over to Great Minds Revolution Incorporated. My buddy Kurt has actually created a very safe and fun way to be a wrestling fan without the necessary lawsuits of basically beating each other up with real stuff. He has an inflatable chair that is really fun to just whack around, and it can also double as a little floaty for a pool. He also has the inflatable trash can, which, you guys, is really awesome because let's say maybe you don't want to use it for wrestling matches. You could use it at your barbecue, your next big tailgate party, whatever you could think of. Great Minds Revolution, Inc. They do a great job on making wrestling fun again. Proud friends of the Game Changer Podcast. You're listening to the Game Changer Podcast here on Spreaker.com. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nate the NateFNGreat. You're listening to Pro Talk Wrestling here on the Game Changer Network. The last time it will just be Game Changer Network by itself before we go into the merger with Wrestle Addict Radio. I did actually find the show that MJ and Phil are going to be creating. It's actually going to be taking place next month, and it's going to be known as the Mighty CN, in which they talk about anything, really. They basically said that they're going to move on from wrestling and just talk about anything and everything, from movies to TV shows and so much more. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm going to play the heel card and say, like, oh, I think I had a hand in that, because you have to remember that I was the one that brought in a lot of the variety when it came to a lot of these deals. But you know what? I'm very interested in seeing what MJ and Phil have in store. I'm very interested in hearing what their show is going to be all about. So MJ, Phil, no disrespect to you guys. Looking forward to hearing what your guys' show is all about. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to offer. So, let's talk about ACW, shall we? So, this past week, the ACW show brand that takes place here in Wisconsin, they actually hosted a show this past week that I was able to be a part of. And honestly, you guys, it was so much fun. It's one of those events that definitely was historic, and it definitely was a marquee night to definitely shape the landscape of everything that's going to be going on for ACW going into the future, especially when it comes to the ACW Championship. So let's get into talking about it. With these local shows, I never do a grading for these. I will always do gradings for WWE stuff, for Impact stuff, everything like that. But I'm never going to do grading stuff for ACW because they are in a league all their own. So we kicked off the night with Raging Dead Nathan Gust taking on Delirium member, I believe it's Sada Crane, I believe it was. I do apologize for everybody that I might have offended with butchering their names, but I tried my best to catch these names as best as I could. Honestly, this was a great matchup that started up the night we see Nathan Gust. He is just one of those guys that I could see wonderfully. He is one of those guys who just does an absolutely fantastic job of creating this character that can be booed when he needs to be booed, but he can also be cheered when he needs to be cheered. In this case, he was cheered, and it was honestly absolutely awesome. We saw these guys just absolutely decimate each other. It was a regular matchup. It wasn't a hardcore deal. They're fighting all over the arena, the Masonic Center in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which honestly has held so many historic deals, and I will definitely talk about them later on in the show. But they create just an awesome matchup here. There's one point in this matchup where they're fighting on the outside, and Nathan Gus actually takes a Mountain Dew can and just bashes it on the head of the Delirium member of Crane. And like I said, it was a really good matchup. It ends with Crane hitting a double-armed DDT for the victory. It was a really good matchup to start off the night. It was really good, and honestly, Nathan Gus said best. He said, if I entertained you guys, I don't care if I won or if I lost. That's all that matters to me. It's really an awesome deal to see. And I will tell you guys this. Definitely check out his stuff because he's doing his own version of the 24/7 championship in Wisconsin. It's legitimately one of the funniest things you'll see. I think that R-Truth has a running for his money when it comes to these skits that they're pulling off. It's just very entertaining. We had Aesop Mitchell taking on Seth Gambino for Seth Gambino's trophy. So what's so good about this All-Star trophy that Seth Gambino has is that it works like the Money in the Bank. Basically, he has this right to challenge for whatever champion he wants at any time and anywhere in the calendar year. So he has still yet to cash it in, but he's putting this on the line against Mitchell, who I said in the ACW Water City Wrestling Con review looked basically like a Damian Sandow Baron Corbin knockoff. And I will say this, he had a little more character development in this because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm actually starting to become a fan of Mitchell, even though at the start I was just like, he's just some random dude. He always seems to find a way to just irritate the fans, and he is just finding a way to attention. You should be cheering for me, you should be doing this, and blah, 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 blah. It's just so funny. But it was a really good matchup between these two guys. Very comedical, where Mitchell is doing these chops and Seth is just selling these chops like they actually hurt. But when Mitchell has his back turned, he's just like, really? Really? And then as soon as Mitchell turns back around to him, he's like, oh, ow, ow, oh, yeah, that hurts. It has comedic moments, but it was really good. I absolutely loved this matchup. It ended with Seth hitting the full Nelson Slam for the victory, picking up the win and retaining his right as the trophy holder. However, it did have a small interruption in the form of Ben McCoy, who he basically is talking about how these fans are not going to get you anywhere, and that basically relying on yourself is going to get you everywhere that you need to go. He's basically setting his sight on the All-Star trophy and on Seth Gambino. And Seth Gambino was just like, all right, come on, ready to go. But Ben McCoy was out of there, and he was already gone. So I'm thinking we're going to get a Seth versus Ben McCoy feud, which I honestly am looking forward to. I love the work that Seth has put in, and Ben is just absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't gotten a chance, check out the Ben McCoy interview that I did, I think it was a few months ago, actually. I think it might have been before WrestleMania or before Wrestling. It was for WrestleMania, yeah. It's just really awesome to see how far this guy has become and how much he has given into this business and how much he's given into life, period. So from there we go to Justin Dredd taking on Backwoods Brown. Backwoods Brown is just this gargantuan mammoth of a human being. I mean, oh my God. Literally, it's like Lars Sullivan done right, except more fluffy. But in. I've definitely watched this matchup, and I thought to myself, wow, this is just absolutely insane how they just create this deal. Justin is another one of those guys that I've definitely been a fan of. I love what he does in the ring, and he just does a fantastic job of creating a really good story, and that was just immediate here. One point in the matchup, I actually got scared because Justin was going for this springboard, I want to say a splash or something, but it literally looked like he slipped and he fell, and I literally thought, oh no, I think he might be injured. Thankfully, he was not. I'm hoping he's not. So far as I've known, he seems to be doing okay. It was just one of those moments where I got legitimately scared because high-risk moves come at a price if done wrong. And that was one of those moments where I was like, oh no, this is not good. But Backwoods Brown, oh my gosh, he almost has like these Walter chops you could almost hear all over the arena. Holy hell, were they just brutal. But Backwoods Brown would pick up the victory in, I would say, almost a 50-50 matchup because it was 50% Backwoods and 50% Justin. But Backwoods Brown still looked very dominant. He still looked very strong in this matchup. It was just, oh my gosh, it was just absolutely phenomenal. So we go from that to Josh Weimer making an announcement that on October 5th, I believe it was a night of it's going to be now a night of legends. He announced that in addition to crowning a new ACW champion, that we were going to have a huge array of legends coming into this night. Announced for this night on October 5th. Definitely, guys, get your tickets. You have to get your tickets at acw.com, or you'll have to show up at the next month. It's going to be an absolutely can't miss show because advertised for this event, we have legend in wrestling, Tatanka, WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Hart, the Rock and Roll Express, Double A, Arn Anderson, the Enforcer, and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Wow, that is a night of legends. That is just absolutely awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys play into the night, but also getting the chance to hopefully see these guys and maybe even get some pictures with them. You never know. I am definitely one of those guys that would also love to try and get interviews with them. You just never know. We'll see what happens. Then we go into the 4-way elimination tag team matchup for the ACW tag team titles. Now, in the previous month, we actually had a shock of a tag team title turn in which the Players Club, Big Cat and Cash, they defeated Tag Team Move as well as Famous Trash at Wrestling Con to win the tag team title. So they have their first title defense here tonight. The first thing that was going through my head was, well, I mean, they've just won the titles. There's no way they're going to take the belts off of them. Guys, minor spoiler, I was wrong. So the Players Club are defending against Randy and Wild, Tag Team Move, as well as Famous Trash. So basically, it's a bit of a rematch from last month's show, but they added Randy and Wild in a hilarious fashion where Randy and Wild, they wanted a tag team title shot, and they're basically going up to Josh, they're harassing him, basically saying, you know, hey, can you put us in the match? Can you put us in the match? And finally Josh is like, all right, fine, just leave me alone, you're in the matchup. It's just one of those things where it's just absolutely hilarious just to see Randy and Wild be these great characters, but also to see Josh Weimer kind of having that comedic style as well. I think during the match, I think they came out and I think Josh Weimer might have did like a thumbs down deal where he was just like, yeah, thumbs up. He's probably just like, yeah, no. And then Scissor back turns like, nope, you guys suck. It's just one of those situations where I understand why he would be mad at those two. It's just like, you could have done it at a different time. If they were bothering me, if I was in Josh's shoes, I'd feel the same way. But this was a great matchup. again, these individuals just absolutely just did a great job. And I will say this, that Randy Fitzsimmons and Willie Wild, they're now my favorite tag team of ACW. And let me explain why. So before I got the chance to enjoy this event, I got the chance to talk to this team, and I remember kind of like putzing around and just, I remember saying the phrase of, yowie wowie, and they were going to try their hardest to incorporate it in the matchup, and they did, and apparently I missed it. So I remember Randy saying, "Oh, did you hear I said yowie wowie?" I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't." And he just seemed bummed, but then when I said, "Hey, you guys are still my favorite tag team though," it was just like, "Yep, we're cool." So Randy and Wild are Wild and Randy, I gotta get that right. They are indeed my favorite tag team of ACW, and honestly, I think I need to get them on the show. Having these guys just sit down deal, talk about their tag team run, as well as how things have been going since they won the $5,000 Battle Royal, it would just be a fantastic deal. Another person in here I'd love to interview is, Joey Avalon. So I'm putting out, ACW guys, you want to be on the show, the door is open, especially with the month of August coming up for the 15-year anniversary. I'd love to have you guys on the show. Let's see what we can do. But getting back to the matchup at hand, like I said, it's very good. You had Swoggle and Colucci tag team move, Joey Avalon and Jordy Lee in Famous Trash, and of course the Players Club and Wild and Randy. Great matchup between these guys, very fast paced, very good. It actually came down between Famous Trash and the Players Club because Wild and Randy and Wild, they got counted out along with Tag Team Move after getting, after just leaving the arena. They basically just went on the outside. They're beating up each other, and they get counted out. And honestly, I thought to myself, well, at least in this one, they acknowledged the fact that they got counted out, unlike the four-way matchup we got on Raw a few weeks ago, where it was just like, okay, where's the announcement? Oh, we're not going to announce it. We're just going to have you assume that you know what happened. Great. Just great. So it came down between the Players Club and Famous Trash. Really good matchup between the two. The Famous Trash just absolutely just did everything they could to just wreck Players Club, but they just could not get them down. They just could not beat them down. They could not get them to stay down until Jordy Lee threw some powder into the eyes of Big Cat, and he basically got blinded. And the finish happens with Famous Trash winning the tag team titles via shenanigans, of course. And this is one of the few times I remember saying to Joey Avalon, I said to him, dude, ever since you guys have been paired up, I've been rooting for you guys to win the tag team titles. And every single time I picked you guys, you've always failed. The one night that I thought, okay, they're guaranteed not to win, they win the titles. Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, wrestling's weird. But it is one of those things where I could say, congratulations to the team of Joey Avalon, Jordy Lee, Famous Trash. Well done. Well deserved. And if you guys haven't gotten a chance, I will try to get this up on my Instagram. But it's really interesting to see the two photos that you'll see in the night. Because before they even had their matchup, I got a picture with Famous Trash where it looked like Joey is just kind of looking at Jordy, just like, what the heck is this guy doing? But then we get a second one after their tag team title match, and Jordy's just looking normal, and literally Joey and I were just flipping each other off. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, for one small deal, it's like, there's peace on earth, everything is good. And then the second picture happened, it's like, oh, we're back to the status quo. We're back to Joey and me hating each other. It's what we do. It's normal. All right. So we get into the main event, which is the 30-man Rumble matchup. You know the rules, so I'm just going to go through the participants. I know I'm going to screw up on so many names, so I apologize in advance. I tried everything that I could to get these names in, and I'm hoping that I can at least pronounce them right. All right. So we started off with Adam Grace and Peter Schwanz. They kicked off the night. that kicked off the matchup, I should say. It was a really great way. These two guys, I thought were going to go the distance. I thought they were going to go all the way to the end. Adam Grace even had a picture where he is in the ring. He's pointing off. He's like, well, what am I going to point at after I win the Rumble and, go to face Logan Lynch? So, the legendary WWE alive and well, thanks to Adam Grace. Next person we had in the matchup, and I'm going in order here. So we had, at 3, we had TW3, Nick Colucci, Terrell Owens. This was one that had a question mark on here. Coda Jacobs, who I will say this, guys, Coda Jacobs is legitimately a entertaining aspect of ACW. If you get a chance, just check him out. He's the only guy who literally looks like he could be an apprentice or could overtake Drew Gulak if they ever were to do a PowerPoint. That is how entertaining Coda Jacobs is. After that, we had legend Shane Hill put in this matchup. We had Ethan Matthews, Levi Yonder, James Vincent, Asaph Mitchell. We had 2 in this one. This was really weird. Blake and Trey Cutter, if I'm saying that right. Swaggle came in next. We had Axel Connor, Aaron Awesome, I think this was another one. We had Drake Daniels, Koyak Jake Vapor, I believe again. Local Dad, Eric Rothschild. The Unholy One, Sean Briefs, I believe. Duke Duncan, XTC, Backwoods Brown, Randy Wild. No, not Randy Fitzsimmons, I apologize. Willie Wild, there we go. Stacy Shadows, Justin Dredd, Zach Hendricks, Saba Crane, Ben McCoy, and rounding it off at the end, Raging Dead, Nathan Gust. This was kind of weird for me because I honestly thought that Colin Brooks was going to be in this matchup. But, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, well, now I definitely don't know who's going to win this. This is going to be kind of awesome. And there was actually, it's kind of funny. So we had a Rumble, in which, they turn the wheel, you pick a number. If you get it, if your number wins, you get $100. I did not get that, but I legitimately was happy with my pick. I had number 25, which was Stacy Shadows. I legitimately thought, okay, well, I'm probably going to get somebody else. I'm probably going to get somebody that's going to suck or something like that. No disrespect to anybody, but it's like, it's probably going to be some random guy I don't know. As soon as I hear Stacy Shadows coming out, I'm like, oh, damn. Good. The only woman in the matchup, and legitimately, I was super happy with it. I was legitimately looking forward to it. And I'm going to say this right now. F you, Ben McCoy, for eliminating my girl. We're on shaky terms right now. Ben, we're on shaky terms. We got to the final 3, which was Nathan Gust, Saba Crane, Ben McCoy, and Nick Colucci. Crane and Gust both got eliminated, and then it was down to Ben McCoy and Nick Colucci, in which these guys showcased each other very well. Nick Colucci eliminates Ben McCoy. Colucci will be getting the title shot against Logan Lynch for the ACW title on October 5th. The winner will be the champion. So, I'm going to do some kind of fantasy booking here, and honestly, if this happens, I'll be happy either way. But if I was to book the ACW title situation, I think that I would have definitely a good build-up between Colucci and Logan. Honestly, Nick Colucci, very happy for the guy that he won it. Definitely deserves it. Absolutely just so happy that I got the chance to be there for this event. For this, I would definitely still have focus on there, but I would also still have the focus on the All-Star Trophy between Seth Gambino and Ben McCoy. Now, I would have Ben win it, and at the end of the night, on October 5th, geez Louise, I would have Nick Colucci go over Logan Lynch. Maybe Logan Lynch can start, feuding with somebody else. Who would be a really good person for him to feud against? Honestly, I'd love to see Logan Lynch versus Nathan Gust. That would be a pretty good feud. maybe some other people there. Kind of build up Logan Lynch again. Honestly, Logan Lynch versus Joey Avalon would be a really good match. I'd kind of like to see that. But Nick Colucci wins, and Ben McCoy attacks Colucci. He uses the All-Star Trophy. He cashes in. He wins the title off of Colucci. And we get Ben McCoy versus Colucci further down the line. And honestly, you could also tie in Seth Gambino in this as well, because since Ben McCoy was still feuding with Seth, we could get, Seth Gambino versus Ben McCoy for the ACW Championship down the line. It just sounds awesome. It just sounds amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes down. But that's in October. Going to be looking forward to, July 21st, actually. You're going to be going to Tanner's to see a triple threat rematch. Honestly, this is the matchup that was our sponsored matchup at Water City Wrestling Con. They've already announced that it's going to be Adam Grace and TW3 challenging for Pornstash Peter Schwanz for his ACW Water City Championship. It's going to be interesting because now that the ACW title is kind of in limbo right now, the Water City title is kind of going to be the one that's going to take center stage. And gosh, I'm hoping that this title match main events the show. That would just be awesome. All right, guys, so I'm going to take another quick commercial break, come back and talk a little more about ACW, as well as talk about the big announcement that took place this week. It's going to also involve a certain man of many gimmicks, and going to go right back into the favorites list once again. So, guys, stay tuned. Be right back.
Check out the guys over at Eclectic Media Project. They bring you podcasts such as Musically Challenged. Whose podcast is it anyway? Want to hear something interesting? And their newest podcast, Page 3.14 News. Check them out on Podbean and iTunes at Eclectic Media Project, on their website at www.eclecticmediaproject.com. Check them out as they are the home with a little something for almost everyone.
All right, welcome back, you guys, to the Pro Talk Wrestling edition of the Game Changer podcast. I am NateFNGreat. You can follow me on Twitter at RealFNGame. Leave your opinions, leave your hate, leave your love, whatever you like. Like I said, this is going to be the last one that's just going to be kind of like a solo deal, in which we'll be joining with Wrestle Addict Radio. So definitely the next episode that you'll be listening will feature not only myself, but also Mr. Fretz. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So, before I go any further, I definitely do need to talk about an event that is going to be taking place this weekend here in Wisconsin. It's going to be the Great Lakes Championship Wrestling as well as ACW. They will be presenting a show called Summer Slamboree, which will be taking place at the Merrill Expo Center in Merrill, Wisconsin this Saturday. Like I said, you guys, definitely tickets are still available. I've already got my tickets for that. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic show. So they've actually already announced a couple of people for this event, and I'm actually going to go into some of the... Oh, okay. I think I might have figured out who the guy's name is now. So, I'm actually going to announce the matchups here, and then we're going to go into a couple more deals. So, there will be a 20-man battle royal for what winning? Who knows? I think it was a Saba Crane. I think it was a Salem Crane. Might be who I was talking about. He will be taking on Nick Colucci. Drake Daniels will be taking on Randy Fitzsimmons. Oh man, that's gonna be awesome. Seth Gambino and the Lost Dad Eric versus AC Riley and Nikki Heat. Well, that'll be kind of interesting. Coda Jacobs versus Cal Hero. So I guess I get to see Coda Jacobs again this week. Holy cow. The Flawless Adam Grace taking on TW3. And the main event will be Al Snow, ECW original and legend extraordinaire, taking on a local here in Wisconsin, that being the one, the only, Mr. Kennedy. It's going to be an absolutely awesome Canada. It's going to be an absolutely awesome deal. I'm looking forward to this event. That's going to be an awesome show. So definitely hear a review sometime next week. Definitely talk about that. All right, so the big announcement, guys, that I have been exploding all over my social media like crazy. I'll be going to All Out in Chicago. Yep. This August, you're going to get the chance to see all the guys of AEW as well as the Game Changer Podcast. We will be showing up, well, I'll be showing up at least, to that event. I also know that Spark Mighty Podcast is going to have a presence in there. And there also might be a certain somebody else that is going to be a part of this. I mean, he's a man of 1,000 gimmicks. He is legitimately one of the most prestigious gimmicks in all of wrestling Twitter. He is also a fellow belt bro, for those of you that catch that reference. He is the one, the only, Dusty Dave. Yep, Dusty Dave and I are actually going to be doing some co-op deals for the one and only All Out show. It's going to be absolutely great. StarCast 3 looks to be absolutely phenomenal. Whew! It's just going to be awesome. I'm excited for it. As soon as we got the tickets, as soon as we got the bracelets for it, it just says we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a fantastic time. All right. Now, with that being said, let's move on to talking about some very interesting... I'll go into the favorites list, and then after that, I think we'll call this an episode. Because I can't really think of too many thing else that I'm actually able to talk about. Yep. Favorites, and then we'll close the episode. So, all right. We've already went through the number 10 spots, so now we're in the top 9 of favorites. So we're going into first favorite tag teams. At number 9, we have the Hardy Boys. Matt and Jeff Hardy have literally been one of those teams that I have grown up with and have absolutely just fallen in love with the fact that they have created so many great moments. Whether they were the Team Extreme Hardy Boys, or the WWE Hardy Boys, or the Broken Hardys, whatever gimmick they were doing, they were just absolutely great. Matt Hardy has definitely shown that he has the capability of being a main event level player, as well as a top tier talent in professional wrestling, and he definitely deserves more credit than what he has been given. Another person there, of course, Jeff Hardy, the one that they definitely really just saw as the star of the two of them. The fact that he, put his body on the line. He's doing all these crazy deals. Yes, but it's also taking a little bit of a toll on his body. At the same time, Jeff Hardy, he's awesome. Jeff Hardy is awesome. I was legitimately one of those people that watched that title match where he defeated Triple H and Edge for the WWE title, and I was like, oh my god, Hardy is champion. That's amazing. Super happy. Oh, yes. Oh, that was just such a good matchup. And that moment it showed that, that Jeff Hardy is a legit wrestling fan. I mean, he literally the first thing he did was he grabbed a chair, he was threw on the ground, and he's just screaming, just super happy at that. Because this is a title that he has long wanted for so long, and he finally got it. It's just really awesome to see Jeff Hardy as a success, and honestly, he still is a success. And I'm just hoping that he has a good speed recovery, and I think that he deserves at least one more run in the main event level title, picture. I just think that he deserves it. He really does, and I think he should be able to call it a career. All right, so now we go into the next category, which is favorite women in wrestling. Number 9, I mean, this is kind of a shock probably to a lot of people, but I threw in Tori Wilson, the recent Hall of Famer, who literally is probably the one woman that helped a lot of guys get through. Let's be honest. There was even jokes about that during her Hall of Fame speech where she was just talking about how, hey, thank you for being a part of my life, and thank you so many guys for letting me be part of your puberty. And I just literally bust a gut laughing. But she has also done so much more since she left the WWE. She's definitely been one of those women that has showed, women independence. She's shown women empowerment. She definitely has been a positive motivational speaker. She's literally one of those women who just absolutely shows that she doesn't need to have WWE success to be a somebody. She can be a somebody outside of it, and she just absolutely is amazing. Honestly, I don't remember too many of her matches, but I do remember that she had probably one of the most character out of a lot of the women in her realm of women's division. There were some people, like Molly Holly, who was just kind of like the stuck-up deal. It worked for her. Stacy Keibler was kind of the cute one. Dawn Marie was kind of let's face it, she was kind of like the slutty one. But Tori Wilson, she definitely was kind of like that clean-cut American girl that a lot of people were really drawn to. So it was very easy for me to put her on the list. Now, would she have been a top 5? Well, there's still a few people that definitely kind of overtake that. And just remember, you guys, with these lists, it doesn't really matter with the rankings until the top 5. Then it kind of matters. And for number 9 for the men's, so honestly, since I already talked about him earlier, I got to mention him again. Mr. Kennedy! Kennedy! Or Anderson. So, I really love Mr. Kennedy. He's literally one of those guys that I was just starstruck when I saw him at the first Water City Wrestling Con. And I literally thought, well, he's probably not going to want to talk to a fan or something like that. But no, he literally roped me back in, and we had a nice little conversation. I think we saw each other 2 more times after that show. Yeah, I think it was maybe like 2 more times when he was a part of another ECW show. And then he was also in a WPW show here in Wisconsin. So got the chance to talk with him, got the chance to just really, interact with him. And he's just a really nice guy. I also do give him a lot of credit throughout his career, especially in WWE. I mean, he's one of those guys who can have that bragging right of saying, hey, in my career, I defeated at least half a dozen world champions. And this was all before he even won a world title. You look at some of the people that I think in his first year he defeated Rey Mysterio, Booker T, Benoit. I want to say that he defeated Kane as well, but I know he defeated Kane. I know he defeated Lashley. He defeated Undertaker. Just this long list of people that he defeated. It's just amazing to see how he, is just one of those guys that a lot of people were just like, no, he's not going to get over. But he turned into one of the most over guys in WWE to the point where I don't think you could have buried him. I literally don't think you could have buried him at all. Former United States champion, former 2-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion, former Mr. Money in the Bank. Honestly, it's just one of those things that I think to myself, this guy's so vastly underrated. And I think it's also because of his character. He has one of those presence that's just very hard to overlook. And it's just fascinating to see that they didn't do more with him. But it's also understandable because in his early days, he did have a little bit of a reputation, but something, he's gotten better since then. So let's just leave the past to die and find out and just celebrate the fact that right now he's doing fantastic. He's doing great. I'm looking forward to seeing him on Saturday. Honestly, I just hope that he doesn't give me a mic check because that would just suck. All right, so now let's go into the of 2010. Last week I talked about 2009, where it was Edge versus The Undertaker. I liked the story that they had, and the match itself was just absolutely phenomenal. For this one, I took it out of WWE. For once, WWE did not really pique my interest too much in here, and honestly, I'm giving this to a tag team match. Some people might be surprised by that, but there was one matchup in 2010, a series of matchups. I know this is kind of cheating, but I don't care. It's my show. In which they created a masterpiece of matches. And that was the best of 5 series matchup for the TNA tag team titles between the Motor City Machine Guns and Beer Money. These 5 matches were just so hard to look past. And the fact that, it's the same 4 guys in this matchup, they're just adding a different stipulation. Every stipulation, it felt like it went a step above, a step above, a step above. The bar kept being raised. I think it started off with the, I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been just a straight up hardcore matchup. Then after that, they went into, I'll try to list as many of these matches as I can remember. They had a hardcore match, they had a steel cage match, they had a street fight, they had an Ultimate X matchup, and the final matchup was just a best out of 3 falls, I believe it was. So these guys just tied it up so well. They built each other up so incredibly well. No, it wasn't a hardcore matchup. It was a ladder match, that's right. These guys just absolutely complemented each other so very well. And you know that with Beer Money, they were just one of the hottest teams of all time. They were kind of like the pedigree team to just take the reins from Team 3D, because they had a feeling that Team 3D wasn't going to be around all the time. So they had to have a team that was going to definitely kind of take the reins, and Beer Money was that team. Then you have the Motor City Machine Guns, who are 2 guys from the X Division that some people were just kind of like, oh, okay, this is going to be kind of cool. But they got over. They absolutely got over, and they had fantastic matchups. You look at their matches between, earlier, the Young Bucks were known as a tag team by the name of Generation Me. Yeah, that was a great tag team name. I think they want to kind of forget that. But, Motor City Machine Guns, they defeated Generation Me multiple times. They had this great series of matches with Beer Money. They just created such a fantastic story with the tag team titles, and they showed that they really wanted to be the tag team champions. They were so comedic, so entertaining. They created an absolutely fantastic series of 5 matches. Like I said, they raised the bar every single time. It's very hard to find some of these matches. Hopefully on Impact Plus. I'm not going to do a cheap plug for them, but hopefully on Impact Plus they actually did get these matches ready to go, because I really want to see them. They look fascinatingly awesome, and I want to see more. It just shows you guys that the tag team division is so vastly underrated. And when it comes to, it's all tag team wrestling, not just WWE. But WWE, they don't seemingly know what the hell they're doing with those tag team titles. On Raw, they had Revival win, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But they really haven't had a clear direction on what their tag team division was all about. With AEW, they definitely do have a clear idea. Now, the only question is it going to be like a 6-man tag team title deal, or is it going to be like a regular 2-on-2 tag team title deal? You never know. Lucha Underground, they did the whole trio styles, and it was always cool to see how, yes, there are these individuals that can work as single stars, but they also can work as a tag team. It's really cool to see that. Then, of course, now we have, I'll even throw in, ACW. They have 4 teams in their roster. Honestly, I think there's even a couple more, but they had 4 of their best teams on the roster compete in one of the best matches. Honestly, I would definitely say of the year. It was a really good matchup, and it definitely showcases ACW at its finest. It shows tag team wrestling at its finest. Definitely get a chance, if you haven't already, check out an ACW matchup, especially watch out for the tag team matches, because they are just absolutely awesome. Alright, so with that being said, guys, I've been NateFNGreat. This has been the final edition of just Game Changer Podcast, Pro Talk Wrestling. Next time around, we will be talking under the reins of Wrestle Addict Radio. Definitely give these guys a huge thank you for the opportunity. Trust me, we are not going to let them down. Definitely check them out on their Facebook fan page. It is Wrestle Addict Radio, or honestly, you could probably even type in War and it would just be right there. They also have a Twitter you can follow us on, which is, I'm going to try and get the name right, because if I don't, then somebody's going to yell at me. I just know it. Addict underscore wrestle. So Wrestle Addict Radio's Twitter is addict underscore wrestle. definitely give those guys a nice follow. You can also follow them on Instagram, which is Wrestle Addict Radio on Instagram. Pretty easy to follow. Also, guys, be sure to give a huge, huge follow to everybody at Wrestle Addict Radio. We have so many great shows that are going to be a part of this. Let's go through the list, shall we? Wrestle Addict Radio, featuring great shows like Not Your Mama's Soap Opera, which, to be honest, though, you probably could listen with your mama, but she might not appreciate it. Who knows? We have the Fourth Wall WrestleCast. Honestly, they are just absolutely incredible, and definitely if they do not say chimichangas in one of the episodes, I'll provide you with a free chimichanga guaranteed. We have the Gift of Podcast, which will also feature a Who Got Next segment. Listen on, man. We have the Kings of the Rings podcast. Some great individuals telling you guys about wrestling. You have a Queen Bee, you have Willie T, and then you got this random dude by the name of Ricky Rose. Oh, I'm sorry, King Ricky Rose. No, I'm just kidding. It is indeed presented by these three great individuals. Definitely check them out, you guys. Also, the Game Changer podcast featuring myself and Mr. Fretz. And I also want to state this right off the bat, that Mr. King Ricky decided to post this up. It is not going to be the Game Changer Wrestling podcast with Fretz, with Mr. Fretz, because that just seems mean. It is indeed the Game Changer podcast. I'm keeping that name. I'm not going to add wrestling to it or anything like that. There will always be wrestling shows, so I'm definitely going to be keeping, guys, the hashtag Pro Talk Wrestling. So anytime that you listen to any show on Wrestle Addict Radio, it is the Game Changer podcast. Hashtag is going to be done by two professionals talking about wrestling, and we are definitely going to showcase what we got, and you definitely do not want to miss out on it. Be sure to give us likes on Facebook, follow us on our Twitter pages. Also, be sure to listen to us on Spreaker.com as well as on iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, the one and only Google Podcasts, and very soon will be available on Anchor. It's going to be an awesome deal. You definitely do not want to miss out on that. So, with that being said, I've been NateFNGreat. Take it up your time. Have a good one. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. It's going to be a new day. It's a new era for the Game Changer podcast. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Gotta keep my head up, never get that low, cause I'm living this life, now it's all I know, like, oh, it's a life I chose, this life, so I keep my bread up like a CFO, now they screaming my name everywhere I go, like, oh, it's a life I chose, this life, one life, one choice, gotta do it right, one chance, prove it to the world you was right, like a match waiting for a spark to ignite, sitting contemplating if you're gonna make it through tonight, and rise up like a phoenix flying through the light, or fly fast like a star shooting through the night. You see, homie, here's a difference between you and I'ma keep doing what I do, cause it's do or die. Ain't got no time for the not getting cash game. Got one life, living mine in the fast lane. I'm so hungry not to get that fame, but I just gotta remember one thing. Gotta keep my head up, never get that low, cause I'm living this life, now it's all I know, like, oh, it's a life I chose, this life, so I keep my bread up like a CFO, now they screaming my name everywhere I go, like, oh, it's a life I chose, this life, I wasn't born with luck, had to make my own, success was the only option, never taking no, for an answer